So, Robin, thank you so much for your question. Ask, what is the alternative to barking at strangers?
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit next week on how to receive to find out from him what is it that he's worried about, that your dog. So this is what I would do right now. If he's barking at strangers and you feel that the bark is more on safety versus excitement to meet them, you have to rule those two out. One would be growling, and you can sense when they're scared of that person, anybody getting too close. Then, if it's an animal that's scared of the person coming too close, see that dog come around to the side of you, close slightly in the back, and that you'll stand in front and that it's safe there. I love it when you stand beside me. We're safe together. Feel what safety is. You have to sense what safety is and emanate that through your body. We'll talk about that next time or the third time, because this is being safe is a very, very big issue. If it's wanting to see that person with excitement, then see that animal sit and then ask the person, can you walk slow? I'm teaching my dog about greeting people. Okay. And if they're barking up a storm, then I've taught animals to growl. And at the same time that you're growling, they can hear information. If they're barking full head on, they can't hear anything. So there's techniques that we can talk about later on, or you can get, I'll be doing some videos on specific problems in animal communication that'll be available in the future. And so anything else?
Great. We have three more questions thus far. Elizabeth wants to see the cat Stevie Ray sleep next to him.
Oh, and how old is your cat?
Let's give her a chance to answer in the chat.
Well, Elvis is 8.5, and Stevie Ray is almost 4. And Elvis had a cat that passed away that he was very, very close to.
Okay.
And it's like he kind of shuns Stevie Ray to a certain extent. And Stevie Ray would love nothing more than to curl up next to Elvis on the couch. But Elvis will move when he touches him.
Okay. All right. I want you just to fantasize them in your mind. Pretend that they are laying side by side. Do a prayer about it. And then just every day, how would you feel if you walked in the house and saw them side by side? And use that term side by side first,
Okay.
because it may be too big of a leap to curl up and lick one another.
Yeah.
Side by side, they can handle. And just keep holding that thought on, oh, I just love seeing the two of you side by side.
Okay.
Okay, just keep
Okay.
doing that, and don't alter it. Just hold that one thought and how the emotion supports that, the
Okay.
vision and this. And if you take a picture of both of them, cut it,
Mm-hmm.
put it together, paste it on your refrigerator, so that every time you open the refrigerator door, you see them side by side.
Ah, yeah. And then communicate that to Elvis, huh?
Your vision of seeing it will automatically communicate that to Elvis.
All righty.
Communication is really and truly our natural skill.
Mm, okay.
As babies, we start out visually.
Mm-hmm.
See the cup, mom says cup. When we get into the second grade, we drop off the visions, and then the word represents, those symbols represent the information.
Okay.
So we're connecting back with our natural skill.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. And we have plenty of time to ask Sam questions. So, Sam, you can always take your time if you want.
I'm going to give you one more story, and then we're going to talk about how I received the information next week, because that'll get into how I received and found out from Cindy why Cindy wasn't getting into the car. Cindy is a 6-year-old black lab. The owners have had her ever since she was a baby puppy. They took vacations with her. She loves getting into the car. They open the back door. She jumps into the middle of that seat and then automatically loves going on vacation. Before the owner would even pick up her purse to go to the grocery store, Cindy's already at the door to get into the car. So they go on a vacation. Something happens when they are having dinner. They come out and Cindy is in the car. She's never tore the car up. The whole interior is shredded. Cindy is scared to death. And they spend a year with different veterinarians trying to solve the problem because she won't get into the car. They open the door and they're an older couple, and Cindy weighs about 70 pounds. And so they see that she's terrified. She shakes, she pees. They have to pick her up and put her in the car. Once she's in the car, she's fine. I asked them, does she have any problem getting out of the car? No, no problem getting out of the car, just getting into the car. So my job is not only to find out why, and we'll do that next time, but how do I give her information? So this is what I did. Once I found out what the problem was, I asked God, how can I help her to give a clarity? Because at that point, I was kind of not sure. So all of a sudden, now when I'm working with an animal, I am that animal. All of a sudden, I feel my tail tied up against my tummy, and understand if you have your tail tied up against your tummy, nothing can happen to the back end of you. So I gave her a vision of tuck your tail was the word. Tuck your tail, Cindy, and jump in the back seat. So she would tuck her tail and I could feel my tail, and we'd jump into the back seat, and then there's nothing can happen. Then she looks at the door, watches the door close. That's all I did. Tuck your tail. So 1 full year of trauma that this dog had, and 1 session, not only finding out why, but giving her clarity on why this won't ever happen again. The guarantee that it would never happen again was the event happened when she was a baby puppy. She's a big dog. You cannot give it chronological age. You have to give it to size, the size. She's a big dog now, and she knows how to tuck her tail and jump in the middle of the seat. And then look at the door and they'll close it. So that's how powerful our ability to communicate can change in an instant an animal. What's interesting about the animal kingdom, when they know that something is impossible, it is impossible to have your tail caught if it's tucked against your tummy. They'll make an immediate change. We may challenge it. Humans may challenge the thought process when it comes to themselves. But once we really understand the mind can't go anywhere, then we'll make that change. So when you think about your dog or your cat, you want to really write it down. What is the physical action you want them to do? What is your emotion that supports that action? And then add the visions, because your word phrase has the vision in it. It has to be action oriented, and see it in your mind. See it because the words conjure up the vision. All right.